Hola, ¿cómo están? Yo soy Sofía Cerrato y estás en un episodio más de Food and Other Stories. Hoy les voy a hablar en inglés, así que hi, my name is Sofía Cerrato. We're in a new episode here with Jef Vermeulen. Welcome, Jef, to this episode. I'm kind of nervous because it's my first episode in English, but I was thinking about this episode for a long time, and I think you're the best one to be the experiment, because you've been a close friend to my parents and to the family for 12 years already?
2010, so it's closer to 15 years.
15 years? Okay. And I wanted to interview you because I really admire the way you think and the way you live life. I think you have a very nice way of being with people, very generous, very caring and loving. And also, I love that you've been living in the Netherlands, Canada, and Mexico. So you're from everywhere, no? And also, we're gonna talk about investment and money, and because you are very smart with business and all of that. So I think the audience will enjoy a smart, conversation around this. So thank you, Jef, for being here. I know your stories and insights will be very valuable. And let me know if you want to change anything. This podcast is always real, being yourself. So, first of all, I always ask my guests to say hi and to introduce yourself a little bit, like in a short version of yourself. I'm Jef. Where are you from? Your age? And just a little bit of you. And then we start.
Sure. My name is Jef Vermeulen. I was born in the Netherlands and live in Canada and Mexico.
Mm-hmm.
I am almost 79 years old next month. And I'm happy to do the interview.
Nice. Thank you. So I want to start with some fun questions about food. So, first one. If you could have dinner with any historical figure, dead or alive, who would it be and why?
Churchill.
Churchill.
It's interesting because you would think it would be somebody in the Netherlands or Canada or Mexico.
Yeah.
But if you look at Churchill as a leader who was successful against all odds and through great leadership and guiding his people and the politicians in the United States and Russia towards success with World War II, he did an unbelievable job.
Wow.
So from a leadership perspective, he was amazing.
From leadership and personality-wise?
Yeah, he had it all. He was,
Yeah.
He was amazing. And an amazing man with, he had the gift of the word. He could articulate, he could speak on his feet, formulate sentences without any difficulties and always make sense. So
Nice.
I've always respected him for a great deal.
Who was his biggest enemy? Was it the Russian guy?
It were the Germans.
Germans.
Because, England was armed and was attacked by the Nazis and bombed severely. In the UK, cities like Glasgow and London, of course, were very heavily bombed. And as a matter of fact, it was like, I think, close to 60 nights, night after night after night after night, that London was bombed. And he just got him through it by, discussions, by being out there, by stimulating, and by looking for alliances with the United States, particularly, to get the U.S. involved in World War II to beat the Nazis.
Okay.
And this was all before my time.
Ah, really? Yeah, this was 1940, 1930?
The
first
World War II broke out in 1940,
Uh-huh.
and the Netherlands were liberated on May the 5th, 1945.
Okay.
And as interesting it is, I was born 9 months after the liberation of the Netherlands. So my parents obviously had a very happy celebration of some time.
Mm-hmm.
And 9 months later, there was me.
Wow. That's nice to know. But of course, you were living in an kind of a dark era at the beginning of your life,
Yeah,
no?
but I've never noticed that. I was never.
You didn't know.
I was a baby, right? So by the time I grew up, and the early 50s, things were fine. It's
Okay.
more my. I had six brothers. I have six brothers and sisters, and five of them are older, so they would have experienced more
Yeah,
impact of the war in the Netherlands
that's
because
very interesting.
some of my siblings were born before the war even started, so
Hmm.
in the 30s, and so they have experienced it quite a bit more. I had no experience with it, so
Do
by the
you
time I
think,
became of age, I was fine. There was enough
yeah,
food, there was enough opportunity and education, and everything else was back to normal.
and do you think your personality is different from them because you were living in a different time
I don't know
in
whether it's
childhood?
different. I mean, no, I don't think so. You are who you are, right? And
Depends on what you live.
events do impact you, but I think education and the guidance that you get from the parents determine what type of person you're going to be in
Yeah,
life. So,
that's true.
you know,
Okay. So, talking about the eras in history, if you could live in any era, past or future, which one would you choose?
well, isn't that an interesting question? I certainly don't want to go forward.
You don't.
No, I think I think, when I grew up in the 60s,
Mm-hmm.
we had the time of our lives.
Oh,
There was education, there were jobs, people were lining up to hire people.
mm-hmm.
There was music.
Yeah.
The 60s
It
was
was a
really the start of
revolution.
pop music, right? And
Women were having a lot
the
more
Beatles, the
power.
Rolling Stones,
Wow.
Procol Harum, and on it went. So the 60s were good. If we could just duplicate the 60s and keep them going, it would be a great time. 60s were good for the world, lots of expansion, lots of
Hmm.
economic activity, um, good birth rates. People were happy.
Nice
There's no
families.
war,
No?
so people were able to make a living. So it was all good. And I was able, you know, my parents were fairly well to do, so I was able to go to boarding school and get education
You were
funded by the
20?
Jesuits. And then I went to university.
Okay.
And then after university, I decided that there's too many Dutch people in Holland, that I wanted to just go and explore the world like most Dutch people do.
Hmm.
Because you have to remember that there's about 18 million people in the Netherlands, and it's a very, very small territory. So people are right on top of each other. It's very, very
Mm.
crowded. And the Dutch, by necessity, because they have very few natural resources, have always had to look for economic activity outside of the Netherlands. So they've always been great exporters and importers and world traders.
Hmm.
They were great explorers in the 17th and 18th century, and to this day, the Dutch people are good international business people.
Mm.
It's just a trait they have. And but my parents, it wasn't any different. They sent me to boarding school, and
Where?
in the Netherlands,
Oh,
and so I was educated by the Jesuits, the priests, and then when I was 18, when I went to university, and I was basically done at 21 or 22 with a degree in business administration.
ah, wow.
And then I decided that, like most people, I wanted to go outside of North America. And I knew of a foundation in Delft, the town that I was born, and they sent young people abroad
Mm.
for a year and get experience in language, in business, in whatever field these young people would want to continue. So I headed to North America to a distributor of an associated company of the foundation in Delft. And I was with them for about a year.
North America, meaning Canada.
Yes, I went to Toronto, Canada. And after about 9 months, they started to make noises to say, we would like you to stay. I said, well, no, that's not the intent of the program. I would like to go back. What I'd like to do really is to have saved enough money to get a Volkswagen Westphalia and drive all the way through North America and South America to Cape Horn, the bottom of South America, come back to Kennedy Airport in New York, park the car, and go back to Europe.
And leave the car there?
Well, leave the car there, yeah.
Wow.
That trip was never made, to be honest with you, because they gave me, in the end, they didn't understand why I wasn't going to stay. And I said, well, I want to start my own business.
And you were 24?
23, 24.
Wow, young.
And so they said, okay, we'll sell you 10% of the company. So I had to go to the bank. I needed $36,212 for a 10% equity share. And I had the $212. And lo and behold, the Royal Bank of Canada gave me the money to invest into this business. And that's why to this day, over 50 years later, I'm still a customer of the Royal Bank. I'll never forget what they did. And
they believe in you.
Loyalty is a big thing. So I invested the money and worked at that company till we started a company in the UK at the same time. So we were very busy. And that was
UK
distribution of food ingredients. So we sourced food ingredients all over the world and distributed them to manufacturers in Canada. And you would never find our name on the retail shelf because our ingredients were always hidden in somebody else's product, whether it was Kraft, whether it was Nabisco or whoever. We were always an ingredient on the packaging. So we were never had any exposure on the retail shelf. So we did that until was very successful till 1987. Then we sold the business. And we made a fair chunk of money. And then
you and who?
And two other partners.
Okay.
Yeah, I ended up owning about 17 or 18% of that first company. And, we made a fair chunk of money. And then I took some of that money and invested it in another company and was with them till 1997. Did it again, sold my shares, made some more money.
Wow.
And then in 1997, I was 51. And I was looking to kind of retire.
Really?
Because my marriage had broken down. And I had one daughter who was taken care of.
How old was she?
She would have been in 1997 and 80. She would have been 10 years old. But, the financial arrangements for her were in place, so that was never a problem. I was going to move to Mexico and become a barista on the beach.
Barista?
At age 51, yeah. But that didn't happen either because I started a consultancy agreement with another company where I stayed for quite a while. And I did some business for them in Mexico. I did some business for them in the US, and I did some business for them in Canada. So I traveled a lot. I came to Mexico and set up a business for them there. And that's how I met your father.
Okay, but so these guys...
We started it in... when I first came here, it was probably 1998 to Mexico.
That was the year I was born.
Good. It was a good year then.
Yeah. A lot of things happened in that year.
In 1998, I came here. I came here for the first time. Hired one guy to help me run the business. And we did that for 2 or 3 years. And then we incorporated the business in Mexico. Got the accountants, the lawyers, and all that stuff. Hiring people. Started an office in Santa Fe, Mexico City.
How was Mexico back then in 1998?
Well, Mexico was part of NAFTA and was making great steps forward in terms of economic development and international business. So it became a very good place to do business, mainly because of a lot of multinationals had moved down to Mexico for manufacturing and our business.
Yeah.
People like PepsiCo, people like Kraft, people like Kellogg's, and so on and so on. Coca-Cola. So Mexico became very interesting for us.
Yeah. Was it Vicente Fox or what? Which guy?
I forget now who it was, but I think at first it was Vicente Fox. Yeah. So he opened the channels, and it became easier to do business in Mexico. And so, I started to come, and then after about 2 years, I made a recommendation to incorporate here. We did that. So by now we're in 2002. And then because, our customers were spread all over Mexico, I decided pretty quickly that we didn't need to be in Mexico City, because in Mexico City, it was very frustrating to do business because people were never on time for appointments, and they all blamed the traffic.
Because of traffic. Oh.
They all blamed the traffic.
I mean, kind of.
So, I was used to, I call a meeting for 10 o'clock. I wanted the people to be there at 10 o'clock. So after about a year, I got very frustrated and decided to cancel the office in Santa Fe and move everybody to Querétaro.
Okay.
And that's how we ended up in Querétaro. Probably in 2004. So we ran it for 2 or 3 years. We did tremendous growth. We had a lot of fun. And then we hired a general manager. And I went back to Canada. But in a year, we decided that the general manager was not the one that was going to make the business grow. So they asked me to go back to Mexico and be general manager, and on an interim basis, because I didn't want to do it full time, and hire a new one. And that was, I think, wow, by now it is probably 2009. So I did an extensive search of people and came across your dad, and decided that he was the ideal replacement after quite a long time, because in corporations, things don't move fast. It took a while. And then he and I worked together in Mexico. I lived in Mexico for like a year and a half, permanently, in Querétaro on Balvanera.
Beautiful place.
Played a fair amount of golf there, which I enjoyed.
You told me it was a flat or it was a house?
It was an apartment, a flat, yeah.
Because I've never seen them in Balvanera.
Second floor, yeah. Well, there's mainly houses. But if you go to hole number 11, up the golf course, there's about 2 or 3 buildings with about 4 apartments each.
Are they nice?
Yeah, not bad. It was convenient. It was nice. It was secure. It was safe, and it was in 15-minute commute to the office. So it was no problem.
In that time, because not now. No. Well, I don't know.
The office was in Centro Sur. And,
Centro Sur.
So
that's true.
And my home was just past, what do they call it? Puebleto, or whatever it's called. And so it was good. I enjoyed it. And one of my favorite stories of that time is that I was living in Querétaro, and I drove a Volvo. And it was in a rainy season. And
a what? Sorry?
During the rainy season.
Rainy season.
So when in Querétaro during the rainy season, when it rains hard, the potholes fill up with water, and you don't see the potholes.
Yeah.
So I was on the road to Celaya back to Valvanera, and I hit a pothole.
A hole.
10 o'clock at night on a Sunday, and blew a tire.
Oh.
Flat tire. So I pulled over to the side of the road, and within 5 minutes there were 2 cop cars, and they said, "Let's have a look at the trunk." Open up the trunk, and I said to myself, "Oh my God! Everything that bad about Mexico that they told me is going to happen. They're going to put me in the trunk." And no, they looked at the tire and the equipment, pulled the tire out, pulled the equipment out, and they changed the tire.
Well, it's good that the cops were there.
It's fantastic. So then I offered them 200 pesos each, and they wouldn't take it.
200 pesos each.
And that was a long time ago when 200 pesos was still 200 pesos. Now it's far less than that, of course. But so that was one of the good stories. But we were very successful in building the business. And then your father took over, and I worked with him for about 6 months. Stayed here.
Only 6 months.
And then he was totally in control.
You wanted to go back to Canada?
Oh, yeah. My family lives in Canada, right? At that time.
Okay, we're going back to that story. We need to speak about like the past Canada. But were you with Kelly at that time? Yeah.
When I landed in Canada, no. In 1969, when I came, I was not married, but I had a girlfriend, and we married in 1970. So we were married, but her name was Ada. She's the mother of our daughter. And we were married from 1970 till 91 or 92. Over 20 years.
That's a lot.
Long time.
Yeah.
Yeah. And even to today, we're good friends. We like each other, but we couldn't live together. And we have a beautiful daughter together who is now 37 years old.
That's great.
So, and she lives in Toronto and has 3 children together with her husband, Rolando. So that's worked out fine.
So when you were in Querétaro, Kelly, your wife now.
I met Kelly in 1997.
Yeah, she was living in Canada.
She was living in Canada.
And she came to visit you?
Yes. So, as a matter of fact, when I had been coming to Mexico often, but when I came to live here, it was 2000 and I forget the years now, but we had just been married. And I came to live here. So all the kids came to visit, and Kelly came every second weekend.
Oh, wow.
But she still had 3 children at home to raise. So,
every second weekend
she came. And then once a month I would go home.
And every second weekend she stayed for
2 days.
Wow.
For 2 days, yeah.
That's intense for her.
And I remember flying the flights from Querétaro to Houston to Toronto. We did that a lot. But it was good. It was experience. It was good for the kids. Get exposure to a different culture. Kelly loved coming. And it was good. I remember taking the kids to San Miguel. Corey and Alexandre came at the same time. 2 of them, Kelly's kids. And they were probably 16 and 14, and they were having a beer.
But what is
San
this?
Miguel. Yeah, what is
this country?
Yeah, they like
crazy people.
They love the food. They love the food as I do. So anyhow, so that's how it developed.
Okay.
Our relationship that's how my relationship and then my family's relationship to Mexico started. But we lived in Canada.
Yeah.
So then, as I came closer to retirement, Kelly and I were looking for a place in the sun.
Yeah.
And,
because Canada is very, very cold.
Yeah, Canada is extremely cold. Right now, it's like minus 23 Celsius, so it's very cold. Thank you. It's about 50 to 60 degrees difference between Canada
that's my freezer.
And Mexico, exactly. So anyhow, at the time when I started to think about retirement, we didn't want to go to the U.S. We never did want to go and settle in the U.S. for various reasons. So as we got, to like Mexico because of many reasons, right? The people, the culture, the food, the golf, the beaches, the sun. That's 6 or 7, and it's a good place to do business. So if you add that all up together, it was pretty attractive for us to start focusing on Mexico for a retirement home. So then, as luck will have it, one of our friends who lives in Vancouver had their 25th wedding anniversary or their 50th birthday, something like that. And Kelly flew to celebrate in Vancouver from Toronto. I flew from Mexico City because I was living here. And we met in Vancouver and we went to the celebrations, and there were people like Bruce and Tracy, the people that you've seen today. They had already bought here. But the building wasn't built yet in Puerto Escondido at Vivo.
Yeah, so right now we're in Puerto Escondido,
listening
to the ocean.
And so they said, go online and let's have a look. So I went online. It looked pretty attractive. And I went back to Mexico on the Monday, made an appointment to go and see them here, like within 2 weeks or 3 weeks.
Yeah.
And Kelly came down, and we spent a week here. Now, remember, there was only one building and one pool that was finished. Everything else was not, this was not built.
This one was not built.
No. And so by the time we kept going, and came to Puerto, we decided that this was pretty attractive.
Yeah.
And I remember standing on the beach here and asking Kelly the question. I said, are you sure you want to give these people this kind of money, to start the construction and everything else? And she said, absolutely. So that's how it started.
Wow.
So, and that's, like our love for Mexico was already established. I already knew that it was a good place to do business. And I knew that we would like the culture, the food, the people, the weather, and the golf courses. So when you add it all up together, this was a pretty good choice.
Mm-hmm. No, it's beautiful. It's paradise, no?
Yeah.
You never get tired of it.
We're very privileged. We're very privileged to have been embraced by the Mexican culture and the Mexican people.
Yeah. But what happens to your house in Canada when you're 6 months here?
It stands empty. We used to have a dog.
But with the winter, it doesn't get damaged?
No, I'll tell you that. We used to have a dog, and then somebody would come in and live with the dog for the winter.
Oh.
But now we have people that go in once or twice a week to make sure everything is okay.
Okay.
And we have people that remove the snow, so it looks like the house is lived in.
Yeah.
And it's got an alarm system, and it's very secure.
So the lights go on at night.
Yes. Yeah.
The TV goes on.
But it's empty 5 months of the year.
Of course, you don't leave anything in the fridge, do you?
No.
Like you put it off?
Yeah. No. We keep it on. But
really? Why?
Because there's stuff in there like mustard and mayonnaise and all those kind of stuff.
But you can buy a new one.
Well, I know, but we keep it going. So, but so at the same time, this place stands empty for about 7 months of the year, right?
And someone comes in and checks it, and
somebody comes in every week and checks it.
I can volunteer.
Huh?
I can volunteer to check.
Yeah, I bet you would. Yeah, so. And we wanted a condo and not a house. This is a big condo with 4 bedrooms, 2 master bedrooms and en suites and all that stuff. But we didn't want a house because a house, you need to have a gardener, you need to have a maid, you need to employ people. I didn't want any part of it, but Vivo just supply some services during the time that we're not here. to make sure that everything is okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
And did the condo came empty, or for example, those cabinets and the bedrooms were there already, or you needed to buy all of that
No, when we bought it furnished.
furnished?
We've put that cabinet in,
Uh-huh.
and we've replaced the air conditionings, the TV, because the salt coming from the ocean and having your doors open ruins everything that's
Yeah.
of electronics. We just replaced the water heater, the fridge.
This couch.
This couch has been here all along.
Oh, I love it. It's so
Yeah.
comfy.
Yeah, very. We like it too. So it's a great place to be. It's very peaceful.
Yeah.
Most of our family members come down for some time. Next week, one of our sons is coming down with his girlfriend, and some friends from Port Hope will be coming down at the same time. And that's the nice thing, because this condo will sleep 10 people. So
Yeah.
there's lots of space.
That's great.
So we get, back home when our son comes, he comes for lunch or he comes for dinner and he goes. Here, we have him for a whole week.
Yeah.
So that's pretty special. And we like that part of owning this property.
And then the friends you have here, they're very nice. The
Yes.
community. Is it mostly Canadian and American, no?
Yeah. No, we have lots of friends, both here and like you guys, and back in Canada and in Holland. People love coming here.
Mhm.
People love coming here.
I
So-
find it funny
and we keep
because
inviting them.
yeah, you leave the doors open and everyone just comes in.
Sure. Yeah.
Today I was doing breakfast in my pajamas and like 4 people came in. Like, hey, good morning.
It's a community, right? It's a community of friends, very good people,
Yeah.
both from America and from Canada mainly. And then the Mexicans here are terrific people as well. So we're very blessed.
Nice. So, okay, tough question. Between the Netherlands, Canada, and Mexico, which one do you prefer?
Oh, that's a tough question.
I mean, you need to
Yeah.
answer.
No, I can't answer it. I like them all.
They're very
Mexico
different.
obviously is the number one place
Okay.
during the summer, during the winter.
Okay.
Canada is the number one place during
In
the summer. And I go back to the Netherlands once a year, at least,
Mhm.
to see family and friends. So I
It's
would
beautiful.
say that Canada and Mexico are here at high,
Mhm.
and then the Netherlands is somewhat below, even though it's my roots.
Yeah.
Because having married a Canadian and being in Mexico so much and in Canada, they are kind of the places where I'd like to be.
Mhm. Would
Um,
you live somewhere else?
have I lived somewhere else?
Would
I've
you?
lived in the UK,
Really? Where?
in Sheffield, for about 3
Oh
months.
yeah, you told me this.
Yeah.
And you went
that-
to London a
I
lot?
did. Oh yeah, I did that. Sheffield, I did during university in a traineeship, and I remember the thing that I used to love at Sheffield. And there's 2 soccer clubs there: Sheffield United and Sheffield Wednesday. I used to go and see them, and then there was Leeds, Manchester United, Manchester City, and Liverpool, and they were all within driving distance. So I used to go to all the soccer games. Used to
With
love
all the
that.
hooligans?
No, not with
Okay.
the hooligans. No. In the 60s, there were no hooligans. That's
Okay.
a thing that came later. But
They go
so
crazy.
yeah, I've lived there, and I haven't lived too many other places.
Football there is a
But 3
religion.
countries is enough to live in, right?
Yeah, for me it's only been 2
You've lived in
countries,
2 countries,
and I want
yeah.
to go even more.
Yeah. Citizen of the
Citizenship.
world.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
one. Citizen
Yeah,
of the
that-
world,
that-
not a
would
country.
that would be good if you could do that.
Well, yeah.
But we feel very blessed to go to all these countries, and we like to travel, and so it is so different to live in Canada versus Mexico. Our lives in Canada are so different than they are in Mexico, so it's
Yeah.
really, really nice. It complements each other really wonderful. So
Yeah, how's your life in Canada? So here you're always without shoes.
yeah, in Canada it's focused on family
Yeah?
and golf. I play a lot of golf.
Golf.
Yeah,
Nice.
so I play probably 4 times a week
Wow.
and 18 holes, and do a lot of walking doing it.
Oh, that's very good.
So you stay healthy and mobile, and family. And then we travel during the summer as well. We don't travel as much once we're in Mexico, other than Querétaro or
Yeah.
Mexico City or Oaxaca City. But in the summer we travel. Like last year, we did a cruise of Alaska, and we went to Europe for about
Just
two
Kelly
weeks.
and you?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
That's
we went
nice.
with some friends, but yeah, that was excellent.
Wow.
So this coming year, I think we're going. My sister will have her 60th wedding anniversary on November the 1st. So we'll be going there this year. And
To
to the Netherlands.
to the Netherlands.
Yeah.
In Teal or
No, that's my
Delft?
brother in Tiel. My brother is in Tiel, and my sister lives near the Hague.
Huh. I don't know.
So we'll be there.
Okay. Um, I have a question. This is probably very ignorant. Why do they call it now the Netherlands and before it used to be Holland?
It's always been the Netherlands.
Ah,
It's just that Holland is a short form for the two most advanced economic provinces. Holland has a number of provinces, like states in Mexico or provinces in Canada. And there's South Holland and there's North Holland. And in these two provinces is Amsterdam, The Hague, and Rotterdam, the seat of the government, and also the most economic activity is in those two provinces.
okay.
But the rest of the other, I think there's 13 or 15 provinces, together with the two Holland provinces, they're called the Netherlands. So
Okay.
the proper name of the country is the Netherlands.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, because if I look for it, it's Países Bajos
Yeah.
in Spanish.
It's the lowlands.
Yeah.
That's because 50% of the country is below sea level. So everything is surrounded by dikes. I remember in 1954 and 1956, some of the lowlands in Holland were flooded from the North Sea, and but they've reinforced all the. You should go to the Netherlands once and look at the dike system that they have, dikes and polders to protect dikes. A dike is an elevated piece of land to keep the water out.
Oh, okay.
Right? The dikes and the system to keep the water out is just incredible. They are the most advanced in the world, right?
And that's why they're so rich, like fertile.
Well, I don't know whether they're
soil.
rich, but
No. I'm talking about the soil.
oh yeah,
And
the land's pretty good.
it's a very beautiful country because it's not missing any water or.
No, there's lots of water.
There's lots of water and the flowers.
Lots of rivers and lots of rain.
And the fish is delicious.
Yep. Oh yeah, it's a nice country. I don't think I could live there anymore, but it's a nice country to visit.
Yeah.
And I speak the language, so that helps. And all my brothers and sisters are there.
Yeah.
So it's very nice to visit.
How do you say, nephews?
Brothers and sisters? I used to have 6. I have 5 now. We lost one through COVID.
Oh.
I don't know how many nephews and nieces I have, but there's quite a few. I know.
Why not?
I don't know.
I mean, I'm not judging. I'm just surprised.
6 times 2, probably 12.
Okay.
Yeah, nieces and nephews.
I've met one, right?
You've met, yeah, Richard.
Antoine's
No,
son.
he's my brother.
Yeah, Antoine's son?
Yeah, Richard or Tommy or
I don't remember.
yeah, I forget which one. He has 5 boys.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. And why do they speak so good English?
Because nobody speaks Dutch.
But for me,
Nobody
it's
in the
like,
whole world speaks Dutch. So from grade 4 or 5, they teach you English, French, and German.
oh wow,
So, like, I can converse in French, German, Dutch, and English.
yeah,
Of course, English and Dutch are fluent, but it wouldn't take me long to be fluent in German, or it wouldn't take me long to be fluent in French.
because it's
Because,
similar.
well, no, because we were taught in high school
Ah, okay.
consistently. We had 4 languages. We had to do exams in 4 languages.
Mm, that's good.
Yeah, because nobody speaks Dutch except for some people in South Africa and a couple of islands in the Caribbean, and that's it. Suriname in South America
Hmm. In South
speaks
Africa,
Dutch
you
too.
say?
Hi,
In South Africa as well?
South Africa, yeah, was founded by the Dutch.
Okay.
Yeah, they were
They also
great
speak,
explorers, the Dutch.
yeah, but it was before the British.
Well, the British, I forget exactly the sequence of it, but the Brits got there too.
Yeah, my
I don't know
friend,
who got there first.
I, I
I
think
can't remember.
British were after because now they speak English.
Oh, there's still South Afrikaans. They still speak Afrikaans,
Yeah.
which is the dialect of the Dutch language.
Ah,
Yeah.
nice. On my flight back from London to Mexico, there was a guy sitting um, right next to me that he was from the Netherlands, and we had like a 3 hour conversation in
Nice.
English. Very nice. He was going to somewhere in Puerto and like a long trip in Mexico with all the friends. So I could see like a bunch of 20 Dutch guys. It was
Oh
very
yeah,
fun crowd.
that's
And
nice.
he was very nice. I was like, wow, so interesting. And I could tell him I went to Rotterdam. It was very nice. Amsterdam. I was allergic to Amsterdam because of the weed, I think. Or I don't know. Or also the fever. How do you say fever from the flowers?
Oh, the not a fever, the pollen from the
Yeah.
flowers. Yeah,
Well,
yeah. You sure did like the French fries though.
yeah. No, it was beautiful. But people
Yeah,
go crazy with the bikes.
yeah.
Do you used to bike a lot? Cycle?
Or I used to. Yeah, oh yeah.
Hmm. Nice.
I never had a car until I came to Canada at age 23. So I bicycled up to then.
Yeah. And okay, when you were in Canada compared to the Netherlands, what were the biggest cultural difference you noticed?
I don't know what the cultural differences were, but um, I saw an opportunity to be successful and be my
Yeah.
own boss, and that's what I grabbed that one.
So you never felt like you were missing something from your country?
No, not really.
Okay.
I was missing my parents somewhat, and but I used to go back once or twice a year
Mm-hmm.
for a long time, especially when my parents were still alive. Um, but no, I love Canada. Canada's a great country.
Yeah, I still
I
need
love
to go.
Mexico. Mexico's a great country. I love
Yeah,
Holland. It's a great country.
love that.
But I'm happy. Our kids are in Canada, so Canada's home,
Yeah,
no doubt.
nice.
We just get the privilege of living here for 5 months
Yeah.
in Mexico, which is pretty special. But culturally, I don't know. They speak English in Canada or French. In
Mm-hmm.
Holland, they speak Dutch. So,
Yeah.
you know, the Dutch are pretty good business people. The Canadians are pretty good business people. I think there's more opportunity in Canada to be successful from a
Mm-hmm.
business perspective. And
The country is huge.
Canada's a very young country, right?
Mm.
Um, it's and when I came to Canada, the population in 1969, the population was 19 million.
Yeah,
Today, the population of Canada is 41 million.
that's
It's more
crazy.
than doubled in 50 years, more or less 50 years. So that's astounding. Canada is a country that's built um, by immigrants, and it will
Yeah.
continue to need a lot of immigrants to continue to grow.
Hmm.
So
And how did you meet Kelly?
Kelly, I met her at an airport parking lot. Um, it was also 1997. That was a very big year. And I was going to Florida to play some golf with some friends. And I was parking my car, and I look in my rear view mirror, and there's a similar car, a BMW, right behind me. And I look in the mirror, and there was a pretty attractive lady sitting behind the steering wheel.
Oh,
That was Kelly. And she parked her car. I parked my car, and she was kind of lost. So I said, or she said, "Hey, do you know where you're going?" I said, "Yes, where are you going?" So she told me she was going to Ottawa from Toronto. She was telling me the airline. And she said, "What do I do?" I said, "Well, wait for the bus, and I'll make sure." She was on a tight schedule. She was late. I said, "I'll make sure that they go to the terminal that you need to go to first." So we got on the bus. I gave the driver $5 and said, "Go to Terminal 3 before you go to Terminal 1."
mm-hmm.
So she makes her flight. So then I sat kind of next to her, started to talk a little bit. And I didn't ask her, I was 51. I didn't ask her for a phone number, but I was pretty smitten. And I said to her, hope to meet you again.
Yeah.
Here's my business card. Give
Oh,
me a call.
nice.
And she did. So, of course, I'm dumb enough to tell my friends in Florida, so they razzed me all weekend. What are you doing, 51 years old, and hanging out, going to hang out with a woman with 3 kids, and you're just
And
about
she was 35,
35.
35.
Yeah.
Young.
And they said, you've just been successful. You've got independence now. You don't need to work anymore. What are you doing? So the rest is history, right? It kind of worked, and I'm very happy about it. It's really been great.
Yeah, she's lovely.
We have raised 4 kids together,
Yeah.
and we have a very good life together. We're very blessed in many ways, and
And
we
it's,
like each other.
yeah.
With COVID, there were a lot of people that didn't make it through COVID. Marriages broke down. I think ours got stronger because
Really.
we lived together all day,
Mm-hmm.
because always historically we've done a lot of different things, right? She was a nurse
Yeah.
working, and I was traveling a lot for business. So we were always going off a different direction. But during COVID, we lived in the same house for a year and a half,
So you had the
all the
time to
time.
enjoy.
No golf, no,
No golf.
Yes. So, but we liked each other. So that was one of the good things about COVID. We still like each other.
And she's a very strong woman and keeps
Yes,
you
very,
going,
very.
right?
It's very strong.
And her cooking is amazing.
Yeah, she has many benefits. Yes, she's a great mom.
Yeah.
Her kids love her.
Oh,
Um, and of course my daughter loves her too, Kim.
that's great,
So
right?
it's worked out just great. Yeah, it's really good.
I love that. So I want to ask you about the knowledge of investments specifically. So for the people that might be afraid of doing it, and as you said, you started very young at 23, probably. And what do you think are the key principles you follow when making investment decisions?
Um, the first thing is that you need some education about how finances work. And we always taught the kids 3 things about money. Only 3 things. That's all you need to know. The 3 S's: spend some, save some, share some. That's all you need to know about money.
Mm.
And we've always done that our whole lives. My dad was a great teacher in terms of he had his own business. He owned several liquor stores and made a good business and raised 7 kids with it. And so I always was exposed to him by you need to own your own home. That's the first thing. The second thing is you never spend more than you make, right? You only borrow for certain things. You don't borrow to go on a vacation. You don't borrow money to go and buy a refrigerator. You borrow money to make investments or to buy a house.
Yeah.
Maybe even to buy a car, although a car is a bad investment. So from day one, the thing that drove me was that I wanted to own my own business, right? Be my own boss. So in terms of money, that if I was going to work hard, I didn't want other people to make money off me. I wanted to make that money myself, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so I got the opportunity to buy into a business. And then when we started to make money, real money, I invested it relentlessly. I never spent more than what I made, and I always made more money than what was needed to live our lives. And at first, you are very, careful with spending money because you want to pay off whatever loans you have. So I invested in a business and I bought a house pretty well at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
So that took a while.
Is it the same house you own right now,
No.
or it's a different one?
No, the first house was a little house in the middle of Toronto.
Nice.
Second house was an old house, also in downtown Toronto. And the third house was in Pickering Village, which is about 3/4 of an hour outside of downtown Toronto. And the house we live in now is in Port Hope, which is about 100 kilometers east of Toronto. So it's 4 houses, which is kind of average. But so, you get a mortgage when you buy a house, so that we paid the mortgage off as fast as we could.
Mm-hmm.
We were always I was always making enough money to be able to do that. And then I always had savings, and savings went into the stock market.
Nice.
And so whenever I got money out of the business or from working, I always invested most of it. Didn't spend it all.
And you just put the money in stocks for to be safe and never, for example, you do Bitcoin and all these things now?
Yeah. I only invest in things I understand. I don't understand Bitcoin. Okay. I don't understand it at all.
No, me either. So, I mean, kind of, but
I would never invest in anything I don't understand.
Yeah.
Ever. So Bitcoin is, until I understand it and I see the value of it, there's no way I would invest in Bitcoin. I invest in things that I can touch, that I can understand.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's banks, you invest in banks, you invest in railroads, you invest in trucking companies, you invest in technology.
I don't know.
That's where you invest because you understand it. If you use an Apple computer there, we own Apple shares, right? We own shares in Apple because that's a good product. It's been around for a while. It's going to be around for a while. So it's a good investment, and it has been a good investment. Same with Microsoft, same with Google. All of these companies that are out there that I can relate to and understand, right? Like you described the other day, Google owns YouTube, and YouTube, if you have success on YouTube with your podcast, you're going to make money, right?
A lot.
Because people are going to put advertising on it.
Yeah.
Right? And that's how Google makes their money. So that's a pretty good deal for Google. So that's a company worthwhile investing in. But railroads, there are railroads that service Canada, the United States, and Mexico. Buy shares in them and hold them. Just forget about them. Hold them forever.
So you don't have a favorite type of investment then?
Say that again?
You don't have any favorite type of investment?
No, I believe in diversification. You need to own a little bit of everything. Number one, the asset class has to be different. So real estate versus shares versus investment in your own business. And also geographically, you need to spread the risk. So if you're going to own shares, buy some Canadian shares, buy some European shares, buy some US shares, And real estate, we own real estate in Canada and in Mexico.
Mm-hmm.
And, and that's worked out pretty well. So diversification is the biggest thing. Don't put all your money into one thing.
Mm-hmm.
Diversify.
Have you ever tried CETES in Mexico?
Say that again?
CETES is like the basic, I don't know if it's called stock market. Well, you put the money and it will just grow. It will never go down. And
there's no such thing that will never go. There's nothing that will not go down.
I mean,
Let me rephrase it. There's
okay.
nothing out there that doesn't have the potential to go down.
Okay.
Stocks. The only thing that does not go down is bonds. But shares will. Yeah. If you have shares,
because I don't know the meaning
you take
of it
a risk
English.
That it will lose its value.
Yeah. But this one, it's always, it's between 11 and 12%.
That's a good investment. Buy lots of it and hang on to it. A return.
That's what I'm saying. Like, you should.
Return of 11 or 12% per year is a very good deal.
Yeah. So if you were talking about diversification, you could start there as well in Mexico. If you're already here, and you can show the property in Mexico. 11%.
The problem with investing geographically and in places like Mexico or Canada, the currency comes into play. So you can invest in Mexico, and when the currency rate is this, and you can make money, but the value of the peso could go down, and you get fewer dollars for your pesos by the time you sell it. So there's a risk there that needs to be covered. So, but that's possible.
But if you spend pesos, it's good, no?
Sure. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
So and in Mexico we own some more real estate other than this particular place, and your dad and I, and your mom and Kelly. We run the warehouse business. We have an investment in there, and so it's kind of fun if you spread it all around in different areas.
Yeah.
So if something goes bad, the rest of it is still look good, right? That's what diversification does.
Yeah.
That it doesn't. If you put all your money in oranges, and there's a bad orange crop, and the oranges freeze in Florida, and you lose all your oranges, then you're stuck, right? So maybe you should invest in strawberries, raspberries, avocados, oranges, and apples. So all crops are not going to go in the tank. So if one goes bad, you still have 5 other crops where you're going to survive. And that's probably the best way of putting it. You need to diversify in different things.
Yeah.
Don't put all your eggs in one basket, ever.
That's true. So for the people that are kind of intimidated, what advice would you give someone who wants to start but doesn't know where to start?
Well, first of all, I would say when you're growing, you need to find somebody who gives you advice.
Okay.
Somebody who is reputable, somebody who is recognized as being reputable, and you would start small. But the principle of saving starts by doing it constantly, repeatedly. So if you have a monthly paycheck, take a portion of it every month and put it in something that has potential for growth. So whether it's shares, whether it's real estate, or whether it's your own company or whatever, you need to have the discipline of saving every month. So instead of spending on your money, share some, but make sure you save some and put it in a vehicle where you're comfortable. And then when when you start accumulating some wealth, in other words, it grows nicely, and all of a sudden you have a significant amount, that's when you start to diversify. You take that money and say, well, maybe I need to own some real estate. Maybe I need to own some stocks. Maybe I need to own some bonds. Maybe I need to invest in some U.S. stocks or Canadian stocks, or that's how it's done. Or maybe I need to buy an investment property.
Okay.
So, but that takes time. But for people
you
that
need to be
start,
patient.
people that start, the biggest advice that you can give them is save. Save. Spend less than what your salary is or what you make. If you make $1, don't spend $1.05. No. Spend 50 cents and share and save the other 50 cents. That's how you do it. Give money to the church or to the Cancer Society or to whatever, and then the rest of it you save. And that's what the biggest secret that I have over 75 years or 78 years is save, save, save.
Good. I like that.
And then use those savings for investment. But you need to start with accumulating money in the bank. That's where it all starts. And then all of a sudden you find out, oops, I've got 100,000 pesos. Now what?
You never notice.
Exactly.
Because you had a plan on,
right.
Okay, this I cannot spend it. It's my saving.
Right. So you need to save religiously every month.
Yeah.
If you're not prepared to do that, you're never going to have any significant savings.
And if an emergency happens, you can use it,
Sure. Yeah, you can.
Many times.
Yep.
Yeah.
You like to not do that, but it's possible.
Yeah. And what do you think about taxes?
Taxes?
Since you live in multiple countries, difference.
Yeah, but my taxes are all paid in Canada. Taxes, if you make money, you pay tax. It's as simple as that. I have no problem paying taxes.
No?
Zero. Because it's the only way that the government or the country can make it fair for rich people and poor people. And the biggest problem in countries, that is where the very rich and the very poor are both wrong. If the very rich pay a little bit more tax, maybe we don't have the very poor. So there is an onus on the rich people to help the poor people. So, and the government has to do a better job of taking some of the money and redistribute the wealth. I don't mind paying taxes. Now, of course, I don't like to pay high taxes, but if everybody pay taxes the way it should be, there should be enough money to make sure that the poor people have some reasonable type of life.
Yeah.
Where they have a dwelling, or they have food, or they have, like in Canada, everybody's entitled to free medical care.
Yeah.
Those are kind of principal things that you do to look after the people that cannot look after themselves. So I'm all in favor of that. There's no need for Bill Gates or Carlos Slim to own billions and billions and billions of dollars or euros or pesos. Some of that needs to be taxed and needs to be redistributed to the poor people.
Yeah. I mean, what I agree with Slim is that he's giving a lot of people opportunity to have a job. So that's a good thing.
Yeah, it's a very good thing. But still, he makes more money because of these people. He needs to pay his taxes. He needs to pay his taxes, and the government will take some of those taxes and redistribute the wealth.
Yeah. I mean, as you said, in Canada, you get free, how do you say?
Medical care.
Medical care. And in Mexico, it's supposed to be like that, but it's horrible medical care.
Right.
And we still pay a lot of taxes, so it's unfair, no?
Right. Yeah. Well, I don't know enough about the Mexican system to have an opinion. I just know that you need to give people some decency in their life, where they have an opportunity to lead a reasonable life. And I think medical care and housing are the two items that people should be entitled to in life.
And transportation, for example.
Yeah, sure.
Like here in Puerto, what will you do without a car?
Yeah, but if you live in Mexico City, you don't need a car.
Only
right?
there.
Huh?
Well,
If you
it's one of the cities that is well built with transportation because of the metro and buses.
Right. So the big people in Oaxaca, where we are now, transportation is an issue for these people to go to work, or get an education or go to school. Or it's true. Transportation is a big part of it. There are buses, but I don't know how efficient they are and how frequently they are. But to me, it's an issue that the difference between rich and poor in Mexico is too wide. And the same thing is happening, that the gap between rich and poor in countries like Canada and the United States is widening as well. And it's going the wrong way. We should be doing a better job to take care of the people that can't help themselves. So, and that's my opinion.
Yeah.
Some of my friends don't agree with me, but that's okay. No.
There are the rich people that they don't care about anyone else.
They don't want to give up anything they own, But we need to pay taxes.
And then they know the ways how to not to.
Yeah, probably. I mean, everybody, it's a game to reduce your taxes, right? But I reduce my taxes, but only legally, but what the government allows me to do. It allows you to reduce your taxes through certain investments. It allows you to reduce your taxes by saving for your retirement. It gives you certain chances to reduce taxes on money that's invested for my grandson to get an education when he is 18 or 19 years old, right? I put money aside. So the
donations?
Hi?
With donations as well?
No, it's an investment account that they allow you to set up for your grandchildren. So when they go to school at age 19, university, there's money for them to be able to go to school.
Wow.
So we do some of that.
That's nice.
Yeah, very nice.
For all of them? For Corey, Kyle, Kim?
No, for the grandchildren. We did.
Their children.
We did it for kids also, for our kids, many years ago. We were able to save, so to get them their primary degree with that kind of money.
Yeah, that's great.
So, yeah, now we do it for the grandkids, but we only have 3 grandkids, so.
Aww.
So it's not that difficult to do.
They're probably very grateful.
Well, we just, we'd like, if that's a way they can remember us somewhere down the line, that'd be pretty nice. My grandparents paid for my education.
Did they?
Nice.
Oh,
that's what.
Yeah, they. Okay.
Yeah. That's kind of a nice legacy to have.
Yeah, that's very nice. And the rest of the things that you do.
Yeah.
Not only money.
That's fun. Yeah.
Okay. Well, that was very interesting. Masterclass of investments.
I don't know whether it's a masterclass.
For me, it was.
It's just my way of having done things over the years.
That's why you're sharing your wisdom.
Yep.
And well, just to finish, because it's getting late, do you want to give any advice to the people that are listening to you?
The what?
Advice of life, just like a closure advice.
No, I think you give advice by the life you live for people to see.
Okay.
Right? I think that's the biggest way of giving advice. If you lead an honest, straightforward, good life, and people see that, that's the best advice you can give people, rather than sitting people down and preach to them as to how they should be doing stuff. just set the example for them what a reasonable life looks like. You know, be honest.
Love that.
Be happy. Show that you have a happy marriage. Show that you're a good father. Show that you're a good friend. You know, that kind of stuff. Advice? I don't know. People have to figure out some of this stuff themselves.
I don't care about the people.
Yeah, they have to figure out stuff themselves. No, I care, but you have to experience life to figure it out.
Yeah.
I can't, you know what, I mean, you know, I can say, Sophie, save money every month and put it away. That's advice. But I can't say, Sophie, you should go back to school and become a doctor. You know, that's silly, right?
No, but the thing you said about being happy, being honest,
Yeah.
for me, that's just the truth. You know?
I think that's far more important than anything else
Yeah.
I can tell you in terms of, you know, become a lawyer or become a doctor or, you know, become a farmer or a chef. You have to figure that out yourself. I can show you, and I can give you my experiences, but I'm not going to tell you
what to do,
the advice of what to do. Never have it the kids. That we never did that with the kids either, and that's why they phone us. They phone us when they have a problem. You know why? Because we're not going to judge.
Yeah.
We're going to listen and say, we're here for you. You know, tell us what's going on. You know, whether you've had a car crash or you were arrested or whatever.
Wow.
You know, we'll listen to you. So that's kind of what we have done over the years. We've never told our kids, we insisted. No. The only thing that we always did, you know, around the dining room table, it was understood that everybody was going for post-secondary education. It was never like at the age of 18, you're going to work. No. It was always about you're going to get more education than high school.
Yeah.
You know, if you want to differentiate yourself from other people, education is probably a good way to start. So we did that. We pushed them to get educated, and they all did. So, I mean, that's advice that we gave. But I couldn't care less if somebody said, I want to be a plumber, or somebody says, I want to be a lawyer or a doctor. I don't care. Just become a good plumber, or a good doctor, or a good lawyer.
Be professional.
If you want to be a chef, more power to you. I'll come and eat at your restaurant, right? Hopefully. Or if you want to be a lawyer, you know, that's great. If you want to be, it doesn't matter what it is, as long as it's honest and you work at it and you're happy doing it. That's the only advice. Figure it out.
The only advice, and you gave like 10 advices.
No, maybe I did. But you have to figure out yourself what life's all about. I can't do that for you, and I'm not going to.
I call it, you know, borrego, the animal.
Yeah.
The ship. Don't be a ship following everyone.
No.
What everyone else is doing. Just do whatever you want.
This is what I'm saying.
Do it good.
I said the same thing in a different way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Borregos.
If you come specifically and say, you know, I would like to have some advice about this, I would probably give it to you. But I'm not going to say, Sophie, you ought to be doing this or you ought to be doing that. No.
Nice.
Never.
I like that.
No.
I hate when people tell me what to do.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
I punch them in the face.
Okay. Well, thank God you haven't punched me yet.
Well, okay. We're going to finish now. It's been an hour and 15 minutes.
It's nice.
Yeah.
Wow.
I know.
I talk a lot. Either that or you ask the right questions.
No, you have a good conversation as well. Well, Jef, thank you for an incredible conversation,
You're welcome.
your time, and for everyone listening at this point. I love the ones that always stay to the end. And I want you to listen to the past episodes. Of course, I'm always inviting you to the great stories and to live life to the fullest. Be happy.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.